small versions of the fight half a dozen times, maybe even more than that. I meditate so much, so I don't even know. But I've seen it all, or not seen it all, but I've seen a lot, and I know that he is the kind of guy that I can knock out. But
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former two-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Showtime Shawn Porter, he says he feels like he could knock out undefeated three-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, who currently is the WBO welterweight world champion, is widely considered by many as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. With that said, Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, they have been going back and forth via social media. Shawn Porter says that he heard that Terence Crawford could be leaning towards fighting Josito Lopez, and Shawn Porter is the number one mandatory challenger for the WBO belt in which Terence Bud Crawford holds. So with that said, Shawn Porter, he says he got wind of that, and he immediately tweeted out and let it be known that closed mouths don't get fed, and he stated that the best need to fight the best, and he added Terence Crawford, and he added Top Rank. Terence Crawford responded. He said, just stay on standby. You're testing me. Shawn Porter, he responded, I hear you coming back May 29th, the end of May, and I'll be ready. I'll let you guys know that May 29th is the date that the target date for Terence Crawford to come back. Shawn Porter wants the opportunity. Bob Arum, legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO, who promotes Terence Crawford, he stated that if Terence Crawford wasn't able to secure a showdown between himself and legendary 8-division world champion Filipino iconic superstar boxer Manny Pacquiao, then Plan B was to face off against Shawn Porter. We heard this all before, as prior to Shawn Porter facing off against Formella in August, Shawn Porter, he stated that he contacted Terence Crawford and he asked Terence Crawford, are we going to do this? Are we going to make this happen? Or what? What's going to happen? And Terence Crawford said he had big plans coming down the pipe, but if those plans fell through, then he would revisit fighting Shawn Porter. With that said, the plans at that point in time was to face Manny Pacquiao as well, and you got it. Obviously, the plans fell through because we've yet to see Terence Crawford in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Terence Crawford then ended up not fighting until November, in which he fought former IBF welterweight world champion British superstar boxer Kell Brook, and he stopped Kell Brook in dramatic fashion. With that said, he never revisited the Shawn Porter fight. And here we have another situation where Shawn Porter is offering his services. He's the number one mandatory WBO challenger, and Terence Crawford is telling him to wait on standby. He'll revisit him if his initial plans fall through. Those initial plans, once again, is Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, according to Bob Arum, was supposed to fight Terence Crawford November 14th instead of Kell Brook. Now, Bob Arum is saying that Manny Pacquiao, he's been in contact with Bob Arum, and they said that, the investment group put up $50 million or more. Manny Pacquiao would be scheduled to make 40. Terence Crawford would make 10. But Manny Pacquiao, he just recently came out and says that he's leaning towards facing 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Mikey Garcia in his next fight. And Terence Crawford is still a possibility in the not-so-distant future. So with that said, Manny Pacquiao seems to have his sights set on Mikey Garcia. So where does that leave Terence Crawford? Well, the reports are surfacing that Terence Crawford could possibly face off against Josito Lopez in May, okay? That's not going to be acceptable to the boxing fans, the boxing pundits, the boxing media, and his peers, okay? Josito Lopez, 38 wins, 8 losses, 21 wins by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 3 times. Josito Lopez stands at 5'9.5" with a 69-inch arm reach. He's 36 years of age. Last time we saw him in the ring was December 2020 when he defeated Francisco Santana via TKO. Prior to that, he defeated and knocked out John Molina. That was September 28th of 2019. And prior to that, we saw him in a fight with Keith one-time Thurman, where he lost a majority decision. He did hurt Keith Thurman in that fight. He did look good, but Josito Lopez is not seen as the upper echelon in the welterweight division, nor in the sport of boxing. Terence Crawford is viewed as one of the top 3 best fighters in the world. Some may have him at number 1, 2, or 3, but Terence Crawford is viewed as the best top 3 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. And it's unacceptable to see Terence Crawford in the ring with Josito Lopez when you have a guy like Showtime Shawn Porter, who is a very viable option, who is a legacy fight for Shawn Porter and for Terence Crawford, who is on the verge of being a Hall of Famer. Shawn Porter is a 2-time world champion. Shawn Porter is a much more viable option than Josito Lopez, and Shawn Porter is the number 1 mandatory challenger in the WBO ranking system. Shawn Porter, 31 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 wins by way of knockout. He's 33 years of age, stands at 5'7" with a 69.5-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring against Sebastian Formella, that was August 22nd of 2020. He got a unanimous decision victory. Shawn Porter is the number 1 challenger for the WBO title. When Terence Crawford had mandatory opposition, such as Igor Kavalauskas, who was his number 1 mandatory challenger, Terence Crawford, he stated that he had no choice but to fight as mandatory because he ranked number 1 in the system. Well, if you're not going to land a Manny Pacquiao fight, the next viable option would be Shawn Porter. Now, we understand that the boxing world, they want to see Terence Bud Crawford versus undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Earl the Truth Spence Jr. And with that said, that's not going to happen. So I don't understand how you go from not securing the Manny Pacquiao fight to fighting Kell Brook instead of revisiting Shawn Porter. Now you go again from not being able to secure a Manny Pacquiao fight to go to securing a fight with Josito Lopez. This is no slight to Josito Lopez, but again, you're glossing over Shawn Porter. And when he did his sit down on Relentless prior to the Kell Brook fight with Andre Ward, Hall of Famer, retired undefeated, former pound-for-pound king, Andre Ward said if you had a 4-fight plan before you retire, what would that be? He said number 1 objective would be Manny Pacquiao, number 2 would be Errol Spence, number 3 would be Danny Garcia, and number 4 would be Keith Thurman. Then he would retire. So it's starting to look and come across as if Terence Crawford truly doesn't have any interest in fighting Shawn Porter. And one has to ask the question, why? Now Shawn Porter has worked his way to be the number 1 challenger for your WBO title. Shawn Porter, he's fought the best of the best. He's fought Keith Thurman. Now he lost, close fight. He's fought Yadena Sugas. He won. He's fought Errol Spence Jr. He lost a close fight. He fought Kell Brook. He lost a close fight. He fought Danny Garcia. He won a close fight. He's fought Andre Berto. He won the fight. He's fought Adrian Broner. He won the fight. He's fought and beat Devin Alexander. He won the fight. He's fought and beat Paulie Malignaggi. He won the fight. Okay, so Shawn Porter has fought the who's who within the sport of boxing. And Shawn Porter deserves this opportunity. He's worked his way into the position. He's one of the best welterweights in the world. And we've yet to see, as admitting of Terence Crawford in the ring with a legacy fight, with a fighter who's a Hall of Famer, with a fighter who's a high-profile fight. We've yet to see Terence Crawford in the ring with such a fighter outside of Kell Brook. Kell Brook and Amir Khan, and they were both seen as far past their prime. So nobody believes that Kell Brooks had a serious chance and opportunity to beat Terence Crawford, and nobody thought that Amir Khan had a serious chance to beat Terence Crawford. Those are the best 2 opponents, name-wise, namesake, he had on his resume at welterweight. Yes, he beat Jeff Horn, who had beat Manny Pacquiao for his WBO title, but you look at it from this standpoint, and you say that most people didn't think that Jeff Horn deserved to get that victory over Manny Pacquiao, but he did. And that's who Terence Crawford beat to get the WBO title. After that, he fought Josito Lopez. After that, he fought Amir Khan. After that, he fought Igor Kavalauskas. And most recently, he fought Kell Brook. We, at this point in time, the boxing fans, the boxing world, are looking to see, we want to see Terence Crawford in the ring with the best opposition. Shawn Porter, no doubt, represents a much bigger task and a much bigger fight for Terence Crawford than Josito Lopez. Terence Crawford, like I said, heavy is the head that bears the crown. Terence Crawford is being called upon to grace the squared circle with the best opposition possible, okay? Josito Lopez does not represent that. when you're Terence Crawford and you're in the position that you're in, and you say that the PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, and that side are not looking to fight you, and then you have Shawn Porter campaigning to fight you, and yet you're looking to fight Josito Lopez, that's not going to add up. The boxing fans are not going to be happy with that, and especially when Shawn Porter is on deck and looking to make this fight. And especially when you said you had no choice but to fight Igor Kavalauskas because he was your mandatory. Well, now Shawn Porter's in that position. He deserved the opportunity. This is a legacy fight. This is a huge fight. One is starting to wonder if Terence Crawford is just looking to coast until he gets the opportunity to fight Errol Spence in a massive fight. So let's see how this unfolds. But Shawn Porter, he believes that, he says that this is the only fight he has circled. He says he's not sure that this fight is going to come to fruition. And I could tell you now, if Terence Crawford agrees to fight Josito Lopez, that is not going to go over well. His stock is going to significantly drop from that point forward. And he definitely will price himself out of a situation to fight, a possibility to fight Errol Spence, who's already saying that he wants a 60-40 split. And if Errol Spence is going into a fight with Yordenis Ugas and captures a third world title and have another unification bout and another successful pay-per-view or whatever it is, it's going to be successful as far as gate-wise, he's going to then be asking for the 60-40 split. That he's definitely going to stand on that square. And Terence Crawford feels he should get 50-50. Shawn Porter is saying that, his dad, Kenny Porter, his father, trainer, and manager, he says that don't get your hopes up high because we're not sure if this fight, if we're going to be able to secure it. Meaning that Terence Crawford is leaning towards fighting Josito Lopez. That's not acceptable. But make sure y'all hit that like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the video. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.